On the night of our third wedding anniversary, something strange happened. Colin was leaning against the headboard, reading through some corporate files. I was just pulling the duvet back to get into bed when I suddenly saw a line of translucent white text hovering right above his head. It glided from left to right, like closed captions on a muted television. Why isn't she asleep yet? God, it's annoying. The text practically echoed in my head with his exact tone of voice, but his lips hadn't moved. I rubbed my eyes hard. The words vanished. Thinking my mind was playing tricks on me, I tested the waters. I shifted closer and gently looped my arm through his. Honey, would you come shopping with me tomorrow? I asked softly. Instantly, another line of text materialized above his dark hair, clinging to me every single day. Doesn't she ever get exhausted? Yet, out loud, his actual words were, "We'll see." My hand entirely on its own accord slipped away from his arm. I didn't try to touch him again that night. Colin flipped a page of his document, and another line of text drifted through the air. Finally, some peace and quiet. Those 5 words cut deeper than anything he could have actually said out loud. I lay on the far edge of my side of the mattress, pulling the covers all the way up to my chin. My heart felt like it was being slowly pinched between someone's fingernails. The next morning, I woke up at 6 a.m., just like always. I spent 40 minutes in the kitchen making slow-simmered, steel-cut oats with caramelized apples and pecans, pairing it with his favorite hand-ground espresso. Colin came downstairs, impeccable in his tailored suit, and sat at the kitchen island. A line of text floated above his head. Oatmeal again. Could she have any less imagination? Out loud, he didn't say a word. I slid the ceramic bowl in front of him. Colin, I let the oats simmer a bit longer today. The texture should be creamier than yesterday. He gave a non-committal hum. Above his head, who cares? I stared at the bowl of oats, suddenly nauseous. 3 years. Every single day, waking up at 6 to make sure he had a warm, homemade breakfast. Cinnamon oats, avocado toast with perfectly poached eggs, freshly baked scones. I rotated them constantly. 3 years. Over 1,000 mornings. And he had never cared about a single one of them. At 10 o'clock, my mother-in-law arrived. Constance Montgomery swept into the foyer wearing a gray cashmere coat, carrying 2 expensive jars of imported Manuka honey. "Where is Colin?" "At the office, Constance." I took the honey with a practiced smile and turned to put the kettle on for her tea. A line of text drifted above Constance's perfectly coiffed hair, calling me by my first name, as if she belongs here. My footsteps faltered for a fraction of a second. Constance settled into the living room sofa, her sharp eyes sweeping the space. "Summer, the water in that crystal vase needs changing. It's looking cloudy." "Of course, I'll change it right now." All she does is buzz around Colin all day, completely oblivious to how out of her depth she is. If her father hadn't saved my husband's life in that wreck, there is 0 chance my son would have ever married someone like her. The paragraph of text scrolled past, dense and suffocating. I stood at the kitchen sink, holding the heavy crystal vase. The faucet was running, the water spilling over the rim and rushing over my fingers. It was freezing. So, this marriage was just a debt being paid. When Colin's father was in a horrific car accident years ago, it was my dad, a passing driver, who pulled him from the wreckage and rushed him to the ER. I had always foolishly believed the Montgomerys were kind to me out of genuine affection, out of gratitude. Now I knew. Their kindness was simply an obligation. They endured me. I arranged the fresh water and flowers, placing the vase back on the glass coffee table. Constance glanced at me. Well, at least she's obedient. It's a shame that's her only use. I sat across from her and poured her a cup of Earl Grey. My smile was identical to the one I wore yesterday. The only difference was that starting today, I knew my smile was entirely hollow. That afternoon, Colin's executive assistant called. "Mrs. Montgomery, Mr. Montgomery asked me to let you know he has a client dinner tonight. He won't be home." I said, "Okay." I hung up the phone.